It's been 2 weeks since Lucasfilm released The Acolyte, the biggest Disney Star Wars disaster that we've ever seen. And considering some of the dog shit that they've peddled out over the last decade, that's saying something. And we knew what the reaction would likely be when we heard these things from Leslie Headland about what the show would be focused on, how they got people that weren't familiar with Star Wars and weren't even qualified writers, but they hired them for the show simply because of identity politics. Everyone knew this was likely going to end up as a shit show, and that's exactly what it's been. The lowest audience score in the history of Star Wars. And we also knew how Lucasfilm would try to frame this. From the very beginning, they said, just so you know, we know there's people out there that are going to criticize us, and if they do, it's because they're racist, it's because they're sexist, it's because they're bigots. And sure enough, that's exactly what the media ran with. When this thing got blisteringly bad reviews, that's how the media decided to react, to call fans racist and sexist if they have a problem with The Acolyte. That's what led to a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's what's led to it being the least viewed Star Wars project we've ever seen on Disney+. Unfortunately for Disney, you picked a bad time to release this because there's another show that came out just a few days ago that also is female-led, that also has a very diverse cast, that also has gay characters in it. And surprise, surprise, the racists and the bigots, they just must have forgotten to review bomb that one, didn't they? Weird, almost like people care about good writing. House of the Dragon stellar rating yet again proves having female-led Star Wars projects was never the problem. And that's true. House of the Dragon Season 2 premiered a few days ago, and as you can see, maybe people didn't get the message. Maybe people didn't know that House of the Dragon is female-led, that House of the Dragon has a diverse cast. Yet here we are. A 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, if you've watched this show and you've watched The Acolyte, you can tell that House of the Dragon is actually well written, has very interesting characters with interesting motivations that develop as the show goes through. And when you get down to the production value of everything involved, it's not even close. In every step of the way, House of the Dragon is a superior show to The Acolyte. That's why people like it. And that's why House of the Dragon just absolutely blew The Acolyte out of the water. House of the Dragon Season 2 is Max's best streaming day ever. And even though the Season 2 numbers, and I'm a little surprised by this, fell about 20% short of the Season 1 debut, which was one of the biggest things they'd ever seen, 10 million people watching. When you look at the numbers for House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere, they dwarf anything that Disney Star Wars could possibly imagine. The HBO original drama House of the Dragon saw record-breaking weekend viewership numbers on Max, and on June 16th, led the platform to its largest single-day audience to date. In anticipation of the second season, Season 1 saw strong viewing, and House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere delivered 7.8 million cross-platform viewers in the U.S. In the United States, 7.8 million. Do you remember the number that Disney Star Wars came out with and told everybody it was just a massive success? 4.8 million viewers in one day? Well, that number, if you don't know, is actually a global number. That's a global number, 4.8 million. The House of the Dragon had almost twice that just in the United States. By the way, Disney Plus has a much bigger subscriber base than Max does, and it's not even close, by about 50 million globally. And of course, as we saw, it wasn't that much longer down the line they were forced to admit it's actually not a hit. The Acolyte's not a ratings hit. It only drew 11 million people in the first 5 days globally. House of the Dragon is likely going to somewhere around triple that in its first week of release. And it's just a testament. As I said, now I really like House of the Dragon. I've talked about a lot specifically over on my second channel, RK Outpost Live. Everybody should check that out. I think there's a link in the description below. But I think so much, it's not a perfect show by any means, but it's such a more enjoyable show to watch because it's written by competent people who know how to make television, who know how characters should interact with each other. And the fact that these two shows cost about the same, Season 1 of House of the Dragon, for 10 hours of content, was about $200 million. The Acolyte is a $180 million budget for 4 hours of TV, 8 30-minute episodes on average. Yet somehow, some way, as I stated before, a lot of similarities. Even the stars, both the stars themselves happen to identify as non-binary when you look at House of the Dragon and when you look at The Acolyte. All of these things, so similar. Yet the biggest difference is the most important thing. As fans have said all along, it's not about black characters. It's not about female characters. It's about good characters and well-written stories. That's what House of the Dragon has been for virtually everybody that's watched it. The Acolyte, not so much. So they can blame all these things they want on bigotry and homophobia and sexism. But you have the comparison. You've got a show that just came out that not only is incredibly well received, but blew yours out of the water from a ratings perspective. So now the Acolyte is getting completely blown out of the water, not just by Star Wars fans who are calling this shit out for what it is, but also by the competition. And I don't even know if they could call themselves competitors when it comes to House of the Dragon. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.